Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Season 3 of 15 Minutes with Fuzz. I always have to resist my urge to do my George W. Bush impersonation and say, miss me yet? When I start a new season. I hope you're having a great summer. It's been kind of a whirlwind for me. The kids are getting older. Summer's packed with activities. We've had some fun family vacations. There are so many events and fun things happening in our area. It's just been good all around. Best summer I've had all year. If you've listened to every episode of 15 Minutes with Fuzz, you may remember episode 16, where County Executive Josh Schoeman and Justin Reichert came on the show to talk about forever honoring our Washington County vets. Well, since that episode, Justin Reichert and I have become pretty good friends. Justin's always good for a laugh, a funny text, those kind of things. Plus, he participates in a lot of local community things like the Wisconsin 9/11 Memorial and other things like that. So one day he had the idea to do an episode of 15 Minutes with Fuzz about me and about all the things that I'm into. And I made him promise that if we did it, it would have to be fun, not too stuffy or serious, because this show's not about me. But I thought it was a fun idea, so we jumped into it. To kick off Season 3, here's 15 minutes about me, right here on 15 Minutes
About Fuzz. All right, so let's get started. Couple questions. Fuzz, where does the name come from?
Where does my name come from? So when I was 13 years old, I was working for a landscaping company, Octagon Services Incorporated, out of Muskego. I was also playing football, so we had started the summer training for football, and I had to shave my head because my head's so big that it needed to fit in the helmet. So I shaved my head, and then one day I was working at Octagon during the middle of the day after practice. I was running a Skag lawnmower. I had accidentally hit, those water caps that are where they turn off the water?
Yeah.
Well, I'd accidentally, with a Skag walk behind, hit one of the water caps, and it shot out of the mower and through the siding of the customer's neighbor's house. Put a hole in the siding. And I didn't hear it. I felt it, but I didn't hear that it hit the building. Well, my foreman, he shouted, "Fuzzy, get your ass over here." And then everybody started calling me Fuzzy. So I was actually Fuzzy. It was always Fuzzy with a Y. And then when I turned 18, I made a joke that I'm grown up now. So I dropped the Y and it became Fuzz. So that was how Fuzz came to be.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. So 15 Minutes with Fuzz. Obviously, you have a past, a history with being on the radio and whatnot. So where did 15 Minutes with Fuzz come from?
So at the beginning of the pandemic, or I guess kind of midway through the first year of the pandemic, I was sick of all the negative stuff that I was seeing on social media. When there are people complaining this way and that way about being inside. Everybody was having a mental breakdown, right? Because it wasn't good for anybody. But being inside, vaccines, politics, all those things. And I was like, you know what? I could either be a part of that conversation or I can try to do something positive. So that was where I started. And but I actually didn't start this podcast till August of 2021. So we're kind of things were opening back up a bit and stuff like that. So.
Oh, that's great. So we're going into Season 3.
Yep, Season 3.
Pretty exciting. You've had some amazing podcasts along the way. Who's been your favorite podcast to date?
Oh, my favorite podcast to date. I find, I'll say this. The one I think that was the most moving for me was the interview I had with Buck Blodgett of the Love is Greater Than Hate Project. If you recall, his daughter was murdered in Hartford, and just hearing that story, I'm getting goosebumps thinking of that. And it was interesting because the rules for the show, I've got no politics, talk about positive things, we don't critique anything, and trying to find I was worried about the positivity coming from the message, but sure. I feel he has more positivity than a lot of people, and just that gear that he has found it's really inspiring to me. So I think that was probably that's the episode that I tell people to listen to the most, I think.
No, that's great. And I think, so you and I are both on the 9/11 memorial.
Yep.
I think similar to that, people that go through terrible tragedies are some of the most positive people. I mean, Gordon Haberman, obviously, with that. But that kind of leads me into one of my questions. Volunteer Center, Chamber of Commerce, 9/11 Memorial. So you just don't know how to say no then? Or
yeah, I don't know how to say no. I need to learn to say no better. I'm getting better. I just spent the last weekend unsubscribing from emails. So that's like my first little dip into saying no to things. So I don't know, give it a shot. Ask me something. Ask me to do something.
Do you want to come over and cut my grass today? You want to go out for a drink?
No.
No, I can say that I've been to a lot of the events under the things that you're part of, and I mean, it's great. The Volunteer Center, when they'd had their recognition this year, and you hosted it again this year, and I think we were all a bit confused with the random things that were coming out and being delivered at the beginning. And the props. Yeah. So just little things like that. I think you're great for the community that way.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So I digress from being nice. Just a couple more questions with now Epic. So we're you're part of Epic. You're a CSO. What is that? And kind of tell us what Epic is.
Sure. So starting with Epic, Epic Creative is a full service marketing and advertising agency. It's been around for like 35 years. I started here 12 years ago. My role so I started here as a copywriter and public relations guy after I left radio. I was listening to Pandora on the way to work every morning, and I was like, hey, on the way to the radio station, and I was like, this digital radio thing's probably going to take off, and I don't want to be a radio DJ making $45,000 a year when I have a family. So moved over to advertising. I had been a copywriter in radio when I started in radio. So I started doing copywriting here, and then also public relations. So sending out press releases, working with the media to get stories and guests on TV shows and radio shows and things. And worked my way up, bought in stock, and now I'm a partner and chief strategy officer. I oversee the brand strategies for companies, like how do they go to market. Essentially, we find out what their goal is and what their budgets are and who their audiences are, and then we try to create a plan, a strategy in order to reach the right audiences and maximize their marketing and advertising. So That's my job.
Which is nice because it's not a one size fits all for companies.
Exactly. And every day's different for me, which is important. It's ADHD, that kind of stuff. So
for the millions and millions that listen to this, out there,
definitely millions here in Washington County that listen.
What drives you to keep going? Like what is your why for 15 Minutes with Fuzz? And I like it selfishly. I like listening to it. Look forward to Tuesdays when they come out, and it just brings a smile listening to what's going on in the community. But what's your long-term plan for it?
My why for this is for me to learn about things that are going on in the community, and then also to help promote things that need a voice in our community. So that's my why long term. Like the hardest part about doing the show is finding guests and having them come on the show and like scheduling a time and getting the recording done. But I enjoy this part, this talking about it, and I enjoy the editing part of it, that kind of art of putting it together. But finding people is hard. So if you listening, or you, Justin, ever have a suggestion, tell me, because I'm always open. Or if it's, it doesn't have to be a nonprofit. It can be an interesting business. It can be an interesting person, obviously an event. Somebody's got a cool collection of something here in Washington County that would make for a good story, those kind of things. Long term, if I can sustain finding guests and keeping it interesting, then I'll keep going. I'd love to have some sponsors, just because I don't care about the money, but just the hook of keeping me going, and like I have an obligation to somebody for that.
Right.
But
other vested individuals.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's great. And Washington County continues to boom. I know most of it is primarily Washington County stuff. A couple things just out of Washington County, and I think there's a lot more happening. So if you're out there and you have the largest ball of twine in the county, please reach out. And,
yeah, exactly.
We'll find out about it.
Exactly. I had been asked actually by a few guests too that have said, why don't you branch out outside of Washington County, like further, just like make it a southeastern Wisconsin or a Wisconsin thing. And I really like the intimacy of it being in Washington County. Like, I feel like it's something that we can own, like that we have. And I think it dilutes the message if I was doing Milwaukee and Waukesha and Ozaki, right. Dipping into those areas, fine, like around the fringe, especially if it's something that affects Washington. Like, I've got an interview with somebody from Ozaki County coming up in a couple episodes. And I'm looking forward to that because it's cool and it's right outside Washington County and they have a really good cause. But, I don't want to do like Summerfest or, those kind of things. When I was on the radio, I was really focused on this area, like Dodge County and, kind of the southern Fond du Lac County, those kind of things. And I think this has the same kind of vibe.
Yeah. And I think people do appreciate the family feel of it, the close feel. So, Fuzz, we found out you volunteer for everything, you work all the time. What do you do for fun? Like, you are a dad, you're a husband. Mm-hmm. What do you do with your family? What do you guys do to hang out?
I have long suffered from ADHD, so I go and I'm streaky with the things that I'm involved. I've never not been really into lawn care, except for this year. I've only mowed my lawn like 5 times because of the drought. But for fun, like right now, my youngest daughter and I, we play Hot Wheels every weekend. Like, we set up cool tracks and do that kind of stuff. We've got like, almost said I have. I mean, she has like 150 cars or something like that. And we do like little tournaments and things. Go to the gym, like it's, my wife and I go on dates all the time. Even though we have our families all scattered throughout the U.S. and surrounding islands, we found a way to get out every so often and go, out on a date, go to Ackerman's Grove Park and head up a beer garden, those kind of things. Yeah. Life is good, man. Yeah. Enjoy it.
Nice. I would agree. We do need some rain. My water bill is getting a little high.
Oh, see, I won't water. I mean, we water the garden, but I won't water the grass because it's like.
And I'm that neighbor.
Okay.
So my grass is completely green, and people around me now have started to water because of that. So I feel like I'm creating part of an economy.
Yeah, good. Got to keep that West Bend water utility going.
Yeah, exactly. Sports. Are you into sports? Do you like any teams? Like what, professional, college, anything?
I used to watch football religiously, both NFL and college football. When I married Shanna is from Northern Illinois.
I'm sorry for you.
Yeah. So she's never been into football because she's never had a good team. No. So we
85.
Yeah, 85. Yes. When she was 4 years old, they had a good team. She doesn't get into football because she doesn't like the Packers. Don't hate her for it. And I turn it on when I'm like folding laundry and stuff in the bedroom, but I don't really sit down and watch it too often. So I love watching NASCAR if I've got a moment, but I couldn't even tell you who most of the drivers are right now because I just don't have any focus on it. Same with IndyCar stuff, like watching IndyCar stuff a lot. But, I don't play golf well. I have clubs. I'll go if somebody asks me to, but I like pickleball, but I don't play that often. It's a little like sports, I guess. For me, it's always been weightlifting and powerlifting. My daughter used to be a powerlifter, so I was her coach for a long time. So that was really the kind of sport that I was into. And
sure. And pickleball, one of the largest growing sports, right?
Exactly.
And I hear naked pickleball is taking off.
Naked pickleball is taking off your clothes. Naked pickleball. Please don't do it in any of the communities that I'm in. But
exactly.
But I'm not gonna yuck your yum if that's what you're into.
I have 4 kids, so lots of kids, and we have a pretty wide variety. Our oldest will be 19 on Monday, 11, 9, and then Crew will just turn 2. My 19-year-old, one of his big questions is, what are you watching on Netflix these days? So I pose that question to you.
So right now we are finishing The Wire on HBO, which came out in like 2005, but we actually finally sat down to watch it. And it is an amazing show. partly wish I hadn't waited that long to watch it, but also I'm like really enjoying it. So we have one season left of that. And then, I'm into funny stuff. I Think You Should Leave. I don't know if you've ever watched it. The show is so absurd that it's one of those things where, like, when you turn it on at home, your partner will look at you and say, like, what the hell are you watching? So, yeah.
Is this a message?
Yeah. So I Think You Should Leave is hilarious, very quotable. And, we watch The Mandalorian and all those types of shows. Looking forward to Ahsoka, that kind of stuff.
Good. I only have 2 more questions for you, really. If you could do anything at all, money's not an option.
Yep.
What are you going to be doing on a normal day-to-day?
If I could do anything, if I was just independently wealthy, didn't have to worry about...
No responsibilities.
Yeah, no responsibilities. Well, it's a great question. I would love, if money was no object, I would love to get some expensive sports cars and drive them in places that I can drive fast and do fun things. If I was retired right now and bored, I would probably buy like a 0-turn lawnmower and a truck and go start a lawn mowing business because I could sit and mow lawns all day.
Yeah.
But it would be super cool to drive a 911 on, some windy roads all the time.
So. Yeah, for sure. What's your wedding anniversary?
June 25th.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I thought maybe I could catch you off guard there.
No. Wife's birthday, September 19th. Yeah.
Good. I love that.
Yeah.
Dad jokes. Got any?
Always. Do I have any off the cuff?
Right now.
No, I'm blanking.
I'll lead you into one.
Okay.
So you can never be mad if you trip in your driveway.
Yeah.
Because it's your own asphalt.
It's very true. Good work. I'm usually I'm a dad joke guy, but it's usually like an in the moment dad joke kind of thing. So
yeah, for sure.
It's what I live by, puns.
Well, I want to thank you for being on your show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was great. I think this is amazing for people to just learn more about you. I mean, you ask people questions across the table all the time, and I think it's good for people to get to know you a little bit more. I've known you for not that long yet.
Yep.
But great guy. You are involved in so many things. Again, you have a hard time saying no to things, but it's always great for the community. So selfishly, keep saying yes. I think I can say that for a lot of the nonprofits in the community as well. But for your own sanity, maybe a no here and there.
Do you remember Austin Powers? I think it was Austin Powers 2, where Will Ferrell is the guy where you ask him the question, but you have to ask him 3 times in order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. Ask me twice if you want me to do something.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It was like Bruce Willis was once asked, can you just say no to a movie? I mean, I think it kind of goes the same way.
Yeah, exactly. But I enjoy helping out, and I am blessed to have a good career, be able to do things. And when I see there's an opportunity to help, I don't know. It's hard to say no. So.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, again, thanks for having me here. And thanks for everyone listening to 15 Minutes About Fuzz.
And thanks for the idea to do this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Thanks again to Justin Reichert for the fun interview. I hope it was fun and insightful for you as well, or at least you got from your house to your office, your job, without throwing your phone out the window. If you ever have an idea for a guest for the show that's not me, you can always hit me up via email 15withfuzz@gmail.com or fuzz.cc/guest. That is fuzz.cc/guest, and fill out the form. New episodes come out on Tuesdays. You can follow the show on iTunes, Spotify, or Google Podcasts. There's tons of podcast players out there. Check them out. All the episodes are also available on my website, 15withfuzz.com. And I think those are enough things for you for the week, eh? Yeah. Thanks for listening, and I'll get back at you next Tuesday right here on 15 Minutes with Fuzz.